laws by inciting a national strike. While he coordinated the rebellion from Bombay, hundreds of miles to the north, 2,000 Indians crowded into the enclosed village square of Amritsar. Unknown to them, 2 days earlier, General Reginald Dyer had decreed a ban on mass meetings. Without warning, Dyer marched 50 Indian troops into the square and ordered them to open fire with rifles and Gatling guns. For 10 minutes, the soldiers cut down the trapped and terrified crowd, killing 379 people and wounding over 1,000.
The only reason he stopped firing was they ran out of ammunition. He said if he had more ammunition, they would have still gone on firing into the crowd, firing to kill the people. His ambition was to teach the Indians a lesson, that they cannot defy the British and get away with it.
Dyer followed the massacre by issuing an infamous crawling decree. Local Indians had two choices: get down on their bellies and wriggle like worms, or be flogged to death. Enraged Indians screamed for vengeance. With a population advantage of 4,000 to 1, they could have executed the white foreigners in a matter of days. The massacre at Amritsar in 1919 threatened to touch off a bloodbath between Britons and Indians demanding revenge.
Gandhi stepped in and he said, no, we cannot be to the British what General Dyer has been to us. We have to show them that we can rise beyond that kind of hate. He never allowed anybody to consider the British to be enemies. He said they are not our enemies. They are our friends, and they need to be liberated as much as we need to be liberated.
Over the next 3 years, Gandhi transformed the Indian nationalist cause into a mass movement. He built upon the outrage generated by Amritsar to unify Hindu and Muslim, laborer and merchant, and he won the enduring affection of ordinary Indians by becoming one of them, embracing the same simple clothes, scant food, and meager comforts as the poorest of the poor. To promote self-reliance, he exhorted Indians to wear their traditional simple white cloth and to spin it themselves. Western-made clothes were cast off into giant bonfires.
As he said, foreign clothes signified our cultural dependence on the West, and it also implied that we were indirectly accomplices in our own enslavement. Therefore, burning foreign cloth was a way of purging ourselves.
Gandhi insisted on spending 1 hour each day personally spinning yarn. Other Indian leaders ridiculed the practice. In the midst of a national crisis, Gandhi might be found at his spinning wheel. But he saw the fundamental importance of connecting with the masses. His unique stature as the champion of all Indians kept him the unquestioned leader of India for a quarter century. While inciting open revolt with one hand, with the other, he had to prevent his followers from succumbing to the allure of bloodshed. Many times he called off campaigns when they threatened to become violent, angering friends and colleagues.
Gandhi is unique because he, as a political leader, showed that this nonviolent attitude could work politically. Each time he proved that once he seized the moral high ground, he must not lose it, and it could be lost through an act of violence on the part of his community, the Indians. He knew the political effectiveness of that moral high ground.
But his public duties carried a high personal price. His 4 sons often felt neglected, and resented him for his long absences in prison. The oldest, Har Ilal, rebelled in ways seemingly designed to inflict pain on his parents, becoming an alcoholic and a prostitute.
From Gandhi's point of view, he lost his son. And there were times towards the end of his life when he said of Har Ilal, "He's no longer my son." It's an awful comment for a father dedicated to nonviolence to make. But the personal cost was tremendous.
Gandhi grieved for his son, but no personal concern could deter him from the mission of freeing 300 million Indians. In 1930, at age 61, he unveiled a bold new plan to rebel against attacks many found unjust: the British levy on salt. It was illegal for Indians to make or sell salt. That lucrative franchise was reserved for foreigners. To dramatize the revolt, he planned to march 240 miles to the Arabian Sea and there make salt. His colleagues in the Indian National Congress begged him to reconsider, convinced that his scheme would fail. The governing British were equally confident that their old nemesis was courting ridicule. On March 12th, he set off with 80 followers on a journey that would capture the conscience of the world and change the course of history. Gandhi's 1930 Salt March covered just 10 miles a day, allowing interest to build and giving foreign reporters time to come to India and cover the spectacle firsthand.
So for 24 days, passing through thousands of villages, creating an enormous political theater. And as soon as the news spread, not only the whole of India was emotionally and intellectually engaged, but the whole world. Large number of American news reporters said, "This is incredible."
By the time he gets to the seashore on April 6th, there are hundreds of thousands of Indians with him. And when he reaches down and picks up that handful of salt and says, "With this salt, I resist the might of the British Empire. Join me in this struggle of right against might."
The response was electric. Across the country, merchants, farmers, and housewives openly made and sold salt. Thousands were jailed, including Gandhi. Police brutally clubbed protesters, further enraging and unifying the Indian people. Gandhi knew that nonviolent resistance requires its followers to show their courage, thus appealing to the best in human nature. He had taught Indians to rebel against their oppressors and against themselves. Under intense international pressure, the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, released Gandhi and invited him to negotiate. Gandhi went directly from prison to the Viceroy's palace, an honored guest of sorts.
So they gave him a glass of warm water, which is what he had asked for, and he put it down on the table and quietly took out something from his loincloth. And the curious Viceroy said, "What is it?" He said, "Your Excellency, don't tell this to anybody. It is the salt that I have illegally manufactured." He quietly put it in water, stirred it, and drank it.